Do you know the day America attacked Iran, that day Iran was sitting at the negotiating table, talking about peace, missiles landed on its head. And in just a few hours, 20% of the world's oil supply was cut off. The price at which you are buying gasoline now, the price at which you are trading, there is a story behind this one night. Canada, Australia, Germany, Japan, no one is in this war, but everyone is paying the price of this war. And the most terrible truth is, this war is not over yet. There is a ceasefire, but the new leader of Iran himself said, this is not the end of the war. So, the question is, what next? Watch the whole video because you need to know what is coming.
February 28th, 2026. It was deep at night. Suddenly, a light flashed in the sky of Tehran. Not one, not two, hundreds of missiles at once. America and Israel attacked Iran simultaneously, while Iran was sitting at the table discussing. In an instant, Iran's supreme religious leader, Ali Khamenei, was killed. Ministers, military chiefs, everyone. Right now, 20% of the world's oil supply is shut down. Oil prices have exceeded $97 per barrel. From Canada to Australia, Germany to Japan, everyone is shaking now. In today's video, I will tell you where did this war start, why did it happen, what is the situation now, and the biggest question, is this the start of World War III? This war did not happen suddenly. It was built gradually, over years. The JCPOA agreement was signed in 2015. Iran would not build nuclear weapons, in exchange for which America would lift economic sanctions. But in 2018, Trump tore up that agreement for the first time when he came to power. He said it was a bad deal. He reimposed sanctions on Iran. Since then, Iran has not been sitting quietly. They continued to enrich uranium. In June 2025, the UN nuclear agency, IAEA, reported Iran has enough uranium to make 9 nuclear bombs. This information shocked the Western world. Then, in June 2025, the 12-day war began, a war that lasted only 12 days. Israel bombed Iranian military bases and nuclear facilities. America then helped. Bunker-buster bombs were dropped on Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. The war stopped, but the problem did not stop. Because that bomb only set back Iran's nuclear capability by a few months, it did not destroy it. After the 12-day war, Iran's economy began to collapse. Under the pressure of American sanctions, the Iranian currency, the rial, began to fall freely. December 28, 2025, the largest mass protests since the 1979 revolution began in Iran. People are on the streets. They want change. Trump directly threatened, if the Iranian government kills protesters, we will take military action. But the Iranian government ignored that threat. January 8, 2026, Iranian security forces opened fire on unarmed protesters. According to the Iranian Ministry of Health, at least 30,000 people were killed. 30,000 people. The world was shocked. America then began the largest military buildup in the Middle East since the 2003 invasion of Iraq. Warships, warplanes, soldiers, everything was sent. At the same time, negotiations were also underway. February 2026, Iran agreed to limit its nuclear activities through the mediation of Oman. Everyone thought that this time there would be a solution, but Trump said, "I am not happy with this agreement." What happened next, history will write. On February 28, 2026, before dawn, America and Israel launched a joint attack on Iran. The targets were military bases, government facilities, and the Iranian leadership. Missiles hit Tehran. Iran's supreme religious leader, Ali Khamenei, was killed. The defense minister was killed. The head of the IRGC was killed. The key figure in the negotiations, Ali Larijani, was killed. In just a few hours, Iran's entire leadership structure collapsed. But Iran did not sit idly by. Iran retaliated on U.S. military bases in Israel, in the Middle East, and in Arab countries where U.S. forces are stationed. Britain's bases in Bahrain, Qatar, and Cyprus were also attacked. And then came the most terrible step. Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz, through which 20% of the world's oil passes. Oil from Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Iraq, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates passes through this route. In an instant, the world oil market began to tremble with fear. Now the question is, will this war be limited to Iran and America? No, absolutely not. Oil prices in America are skyrocketing. Long lines at gas stations, stock market crashes. Ordinary Americans are taking to the streets. Even Trump's own supporters are openly opposing this war. Canada is not directly in the war, but as a U.S. ally, it is under pressure. The increase in oil prices is making everything from transportation to groceries expensive. Canadian citizens in the Middle East have had to be evacuated. For an island country like Australia, the oil crisis means a serious problem. If Iran keeps closing the Strait of Hormuz, Australia will have to bring oil from far away via alternative routes. Prices will increase, and the standard of living will fall. France has opposed this war. France, along with Britain and Germany, has said that it should return to the path of negotiations. However, as a member of NATO, it has to maintain relations with America. NATO says it is completely surprised by this war. Germany's economy is already in difficult times. The increase in oil prices is putting even more pressure on German industry. And for Japan, this war is the most dangerous. Japan is almost entirely dependent on Middle Eastern oil. The closure of Hormuz means the threat of the closure of Japanese industries. Analysts say that South Korea is the most affected non-combatant country in this war. Pacific Island countries are in danger from both sides, oil prices and supply. April 7, 2026, Trump announces a 2-week ceasefire. He says, complete and total victory. Iran's new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, son of the late Khamenei, told the military to cease fire, but he added, this is not the end of the war. Pakistan's prime minister has invited talks in Islamabad, but the problems are many. The Strait of Hormuz is still under Iranian control. Iran says ships can pass through if they coordinate with them, but not independently. Israel continues its attacks on Lebanon. Iran says there will be no talks unless the attacks on Lebanon stop. Iran's nuclear uranium is still in a safe place. The real situation is unclear. And Trump warns, if the deal is not respected, there will be a much bigger blow than anything you've seen before. Is this a real ceasefire, or the calm before the next storm? There are now 3 possible scenarios. The first scenario, a peaceful solution. The Islamabad talks succeed. Iran permanently limits its nuclear activities. America lifts sanctions. Hormuz opens. Oil prices fall. The world breathes a sigh of relief. The chances? Low, because both sides want to enter the talks as winners. The second scenario, the war starts again. The ceasefire breaks down. Trump orders another attack. Iran completely blocks Hormuz. The Houthis also close the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. Oil prices are $150 to $200 per barrel. A global recession begins. What will be the role of China and Russia in this situation? That is the biggest question. The third scenario, a long instability. The war stops, but there is no permanent solution. Iran gradually changes from within. The Middle East remains turbulent for years. The world economy is under pressure. Analysts say America's biggest long-term losses may be felt outside the Middle East, elsewhere. This war is not just a war between America and Iran. It is a war for oil, a war for nuclear weapons, a war for power, a war for the future of the Middle East. When an ordinary Canadian is paying more at the gas pump, it is because of this war. Grocery prices in Australia are rising. It is because of this war. German factories are cutting production. It is because of this war. Japan is rethinking its energy policy. It is because of this war. And ordinary Iranians, who themselves protested against the government, are now trapped in a war. History teaches us again and again, starting a war is easy, ending it is difficult. In today's video, I have presented the information to you. Now the question is for you. Do you think this war could turn into World War III? Tell us in the comments. Share so that more people know the real information. Tell us how you are feeling the impact of this war from your country. We will come back with a more in-depth analysis.